Jase Bowen currently leading the Arizona Fall League in total bases. He has the highest OPS on his team. He's got among qualified hitters. He currently has the 8th highest OPS in the Arizona Fall League. But just to kind of run through Jase Bowen so far, 16 games, 64 at bats. He's hitting 359, 423 on base percentage. He's slugging 625, 3 home runs, which leads his team. I believe that even it's not first in the Fall League, but leads his team. But yeah, the guy is crushing it. I think the most interesting part of all this too, on top of the hitting, is he's shown his versatility. He's played a lot of different positions. I want to say he's played like 5 different positions so far in the Fall League, at least 4. And so you're seeing the ability to move around the diamond while simultaneously being able to hit, which is a very useful skill to have if you're looking to, I don't know, maybe make a 40-man roster this offseason.
Yeah. Just put it out there. So he's played 5 games at first, 2 in center, 1 in left, 7 in right.
Okay.
So some
5
versatility there.
Yeah, 5 positions. Did I count that right? 5?
4.
Okay.
First and
it's
all
early.
Outfield.
Yeah, it's early.
If you were looking previously, I think you might have been looking at outfield as a position.
Yeah,
that's how 5 got listed on his page. But anyway,
yeah, Jamie's got a good question though. I mean, he says, you guys weren't big on Bowen, but do you think this changes things, or is the level of competition still not enough to make him quote unquote intriguing? What do you think, Donardo?
Well, here's the thing. I think the reason why we use the word intriguing, or at least for me, is because my eyes are on him a little bit more now. And again, we talk about, like, if you're going to have short sample, you'd rather have it as good short sample than bad short sample, right? And his short sample right now is very good, but also, like, you look at the competition, it is very weak still, So the way I guess I look at it, it's been 16 games, but in the 16 games, 4 doubles, 2 triples, 3 home runs, right? He's not striking out a ton, 17 strikeouts in those games. Like, I'm intrigued. I'm not ready to say like Jase Bowen 40 man and Jase Bowen future first baseman or anything like that, right? But it's like, you know what? Of the underwhelming people that the Pirates sent to the AFL, he's the best of them. That's kind of where I'm at, and he's doing the best of them, and he's doing it at a very, very good clip here. So, like you said, he's really the only one you want to talk about. But like, it's still Jase Bowen, if that makes sense. Like, that's still where I'm at. Like, I don't know if I'm protecting Jase Bowen on this 40 man. I mean, I don't know. Things could change when we really, really want to break down the 40 man upcoming this offseason. But like, I'm still not ready to go there with him.
So I would say, if you asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I was firmly in the there's just no reason to protect this guy camp. And that's just, quite frankly, looking at, he's an outfielder, right? If you're going to play a position that is easily somewhere where you can hide a guy, for an entire 180-day season.
The Pirates been hiding 3 of them.
It's hard to just hide an extra outfielder in your lineup, right? Because it's like you need guys who you can rely on there. He's played 8 games above high A. He still struck out 24.5% of the time in high A, which isn't a terrible number, but it was his second go around. Like, his first go around, struck out 32% of the time. So but he got better, obviously. We're not even really talking about a guy who like tore up the league either. Like, we're talking about high A. the 23 homers looks nice. The 24 stolen bases looks nice. But like a 117 weighted runs created plus, we're not like he was an above average hitter in high A. Like he didn't tear the league up. So you look at that and you just say, why protect this guy? There's no one who's going to pick him. Every single organization has a 23-year-old guy who can play outfield, who put up a 117 weighted runs created plus in high A. Like this isn't a rare thing to do. It's extremely common, and again, probably every team in baseball has a guy like that. Jase Bowen barely is cracking top 30 prospect lists. Barely. That's the Jase Bowen we ended the season with.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're seeing him go to Arizona. And like you said, it's a very small sample size, but he's being compared now to some of the better minor leaguers in the game. And he's not only holding his own, but he's like shining among them. Like he's looked really good. So if the question is, do you use a 40-man spot on him? I still don't know if it would be required. Like I still don't know if there's teams out there who are going out and using a 26-man roster spot on Jase Bowen. But he does look like a guy who is more and more looking like he could be a future major leaguer, right? So you got to kind of think, all right, what's the like, how do we weigh this, right? If there's a spot available for Jase Bowen on the 40-man, and the Pirates don't have a lot of guys they need to add this offseason because they added them all last year, right?
Right.
So like if the spot's there, I don't see that big of an issue with giving him a spot. Now, I know the Pirates are going to be better next year than they were this year, but like this team carried Ryan Vilade throughout the whole offseason last year. Like if you did that, you can probably figure out a way to carry Jase Bowen. Again, we're going to be dealing with much different expectations next year, which comes with loftier goals and aspirations for guys on the 40-man roster.
Mm-hmm.
But I think adding Jase Bowen right now wouldn't be a mistake, if that makes sense. I don't think not adding him is a mistake either. Like at this point, I'm good with either way. I still want to see more. You know, the Arizona Fall League still got a few more weeks left. Let's see how he finishes. But I think at this point, he's put himself in a position where like you really got to consider this. I still don't think he's someone who's drafted in the Rule 5 draft, but
Right.
there is that slight chance. And then you are looking at him and you're saying, do we want to make sure this guy's in the organization next year? And if you want to make sure he's in the organization next year, then adding him to the 40-man's the right call.
You're hitting a couple key pieces there. 4-1. I kind of look at him like they're different players, right? And I know he played first, but he's more of an outfielder. The other guys I'm talking about are first baseman. But in the same sense, like, did they protect Malcolm Nunez? No. Did they protect Mason Martin? No. Did I have more intrigue on those two than maybe Jase Bowen? I think so. But at the
Matt
same
Gorski
time,
was another one. That was a no. Yeah.
Gorski, that's a really good example. That's the comp I want to use here too. Yeah, Gorski, he was tearing it up. But he was old for his age. Like we talked about that too. You didn't protect him. No team picked him up. But like with him, he's now in the conversation. You know, so like, you want to talk about the intriguing part. I felt like before the AFL, I don't even want to talk about him. like what are we doing talking about Jase Bowen? That's what I think I'd have been at. Now that he's in the AFL and he's doing what he's doing, right? And we talk, like I said, short sample, you want to have it good. He's at least in the conversation. I think, you know, like we can discuss it. We can talk pros and cons. I'm not on board with having him on the 40-man as well. But I think the biggest part about that is what you said too. It's not so much a knock on him. It's just where this organization needs to be at. We can't be talking about Jase Bowens. This team needs to be good. This team needs to be shopping. We can talk about right in the other part of the store. It's not the Jase Bowen store. Like we can't. If this team is going to be good, we can't worry about the Jase Bowens of the world. If Jase Bowen becomes a major league player, good. The Pirates have 60 of those guys. They need some dudes like we're talking about. Like we keep talking about the depth, right? I'm not worried about losing Jase Bowen. That's where I'm at. So if he is on the 40 man, I think I would be a little bit disappointed unless they feel like they can. Maybe not so much a Valade situation, but like he's on the 40 man, but maybe he's a casualty after, right? Because we know like maybe the winter meetings will be different, but like signings keeps happening like later and later and later. So maybe they feel like they can have him on the team and then
So I
be
think
a
if he gets, I
casualty
think if
later.
yeah, I
I
think
don't
if he
know.
gets added, he stays on just because like if you're talking about outfielders, there's Kanan Smith and Jigba, there's Joshua Palacios, and there's Miguel Andujar. If you DFA any of those three right now, they probably
Mm-hmm.
all clear waivers. So it's like there's other casualties that you can have other than
No,
Jase
I
Bowen,
agree, which again
Um,
goes to my point that I'd rather him not, but
whereas Jase Bowen, if you DFA him, he doesn't clear waivers. He gets picked up by another team and stowed away in their system. So I, but no, I agree with you in that like I don't think we need to necessarily worry about this if like this doesn't have a whole lot of impact on next year's team. I don't think it has a whole lot of impact on future teams either. Like I'm still thinking Jase Bowen's absolute ceiling is fourth outfielder, right? Like
yeah,
he's still not a starting
platoon
outfielder.
versus lefties probably.
So you think of it this another way. We mentioned like how do you make this team better? Well, this team's acquired a lot of prospect depth, and Jase Bowen is part of that. One really good thing about the Arizona Fall League is every single team is there scouting their guys and your guys. I think right now, if I'm the Pirates, I'm hoping another team has taken notice of Jase Bowen and has said, you know what, that's a guy we want. And the Pirates can then trade Jase Bowen for someone who is going to help them next year. I think that's the play here, and he's getting a ton of exposure, which is great. He's playing really well, which is great. Hopefully, they can kind of utilize this as draft capital. I, I I think right now that's where Jase Bowen's highest value is. He's doing this in front of scouts for every single team. He's performing well, and there may be a team who is fine with giving up a 40-man spot because they're not looking to compete next year, and they're saying, "Yeah, give me Jase Bowen. We'll put him in Double A and see what happens."
I agree. You're probably right. Like his best way of finding success for the Pirates for the Pirates to trade him and
Yeah,
acquire what they actually need. Yeah, so more articles, Mayo. Let the teams notice and let fan base notice him. Let fan bases like pound the table for a Jase Bowen trade in their system. So Charrington can make that deal to acquire and probably package somebody, some other piece to get what they really need. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know if he's at that level either with other teams, but hopefully maybe someone is and they work that out. But at any rate, again, like I don't want to knock on Jase Bowen. Like he is having a fine season. And then in AFL, he's having a really good, time out there right now. Definitely getting noticed. I think he should be more known amongst Pirates fans now, right? Like take a little bit of notice. But again, like I don't
yeah,
want to overhype what he's doing. He's still a 23-year-old playing in a little bit lower of a level than he probably should be. Like now he's in the AFL. And again, we talk about the pitching in the AFL. It's not, I mean, there's some talent, right? There's some top prospects, but overall, again, if we really want, we could talk about the Pirates pitching they have in there, and it's terrible. And again, like that's who Jase Bowen's facing is like the other team's JC Flowers, right?
right.
So it's almost in a sense like he kind of should be playing pretty well over there. So it's good that he is, but he probably should be doing this.
Yeah, I think, and you brought up a good point a little bit ago where you just look at the Pirates' last few times that they've ran into a situation like this, and they haven't added Jase Bowen like prospects to their 40 man. Matt Gorski, Malcolm Nunez, Mason Martin. We can even talk about Blake Sable. Blake Sable played catcher, right, and was a better hitter than Jase Bowen, and they didn't protect him, right? Now he got
fair.
drafted. He got drafted, but like Blake Sable was a better hitter than Jase Bowen. So yeah, I think just by seeing that and remembering that, I'm not quite sure if he's 40 man material for this team yet, but I'm certainly interested in trading him and using him to acquire major league talent. Yeah, I think that's a real possibility.
Hey, you all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.